The Bombay High Court recently delivered a significant judgment concerning pension calculations for employees. This ruling has sparked considerable interest and debate, particularly regarding how previous employment periods are factored into pension benefits. The case, Dr. V.N. Madhu versus Bhavan Samani College and others, brought to light the intricacies of pension law and its implications for individuals transitioning between jobs, especially within the same organization. This essay delves into the details of the case, examining the court's rationale and its broader implications. It also explores a contrasting case, Pratima Dev versus State of Maharashtra, to highlight the nuances of pension law. Additionally, the essay touches upon the unrelated but intriguing case of ex-Judge Ganediwala, further illustrating the complexities surrounding pension regulations. By analyzing these cases, this essay aims to provide readers with a clearer understanding of how pension benefits are calculated, particularly in situations involving fresh appointments after termination. Dr. V.N. Madhu's case involved a dispute over the calculation of his pension benefits. Dr. Madhu had been employed in 2 separate stints at Bhavan Samani College. His first stint was a temporary appointment, which was later terminated. Subsequently, he was re-employed by the college in a fresh, permanent position. The crux of the matter arose when Dr. Madhu retired from his permanent position. He contended that his previous service period, during his temporary appointment, should be included when calculating his pension benefits. This claim was based on the argument that his service at the college, though interrupted, had been continuous. However, the college contested his claim, arguing that his re-employment constituted a fresh appointment. This, they argued, created a break in his service, rendering his previous period of employment ineligible for inclusion in pension calculations. The case ultimately landed in the Bombay High Court, where the nuances of pension law and the definition of continuous service came under scrutiny. The Bombay High Court, in its ruling, sided with Bhavan Samani College. The case revolved around the re-employment of Dr. Madhu, a former employee who had been rehired by the institution. The court's decision was pivotal in clarifying the legal standing of re-employment and its implications on past service records. The court held that Dr. Madhu's re-employment constituted a fresh appointment, which meant that his previous tenure at the college was not to be considered in the context of his new employment. This ruling was significant, as it set a precedent for how re-employment cases should be treated in the future. By defining the re-employment as a fresh appointment, the court effectively severed the link to Dr. Madhu's previous service period. This meant that any benefits or claims tied to his earlier tenure were no longer applicable under his new contract. This decision was grounded in the principle that a fresh appointment signifies a new contractual agreement between the employer and employee. The court emphasized that each employment contract stands on its own, independent of any prior agreements. This new agreement, the court argued, superseded any past service terms and conditions, including those related to pension benefits. The ruling highlighted that pension benefits are contingent upon an unbroken chain of service, which was not the case for Dr. Madhu. Essentially, the court's stance was that while Dr. Madhu had been employed at the same institution twice, his employment history was punctuated by a clear break. This break was not just a formality, but a significant legal distinction that affected his rights and benefits. This break, created by the termination of his first appointment and the subsequent fresh appointment, was deemed significant enough to negate the continuous service argument. The court's interpretation was that a fresh appointment resets the employment terms, making it a new starting point for all legal and contractual purposes. The court's interpretation emphasized the importance of a legally unbroken chain of service for an employee to accrue and carry forward pension benefits. This ruling serves as a crucial reminder for employees and employers alike to understand the implications of breaks in service. This interpretation has substantial implications for individuals who may find themselves in similar situations, particularly those transitioning between temporary and permanent positions or rejoining an organization after a break. It underscores the necessity for clear contractual terms and the potential impact of re-employment on accrued benefits and service continuity. Section 4. Rule 30 and its applicability. This particular rule has been a subject of much debate and interpretation over the years. It is a critical component of the Maharashtra Civil Services Pension Rules, 1982, and has significant implications for government employees seeking to understand their pension rights. Why Dr. Madhu's case was different. Unlike many other cases that have come before the courts, Dr. Madhu's situation presented unique challenges and nuances that required a detailed examination of the rules and their intended application. The judgment in Dr. Madhu's case also touched upon Rule 30 of the Maharashtra Civil Services Pension Rules, 1982. This rule is designed to ensure that employees who have served in various capacities can have their previous service counted towards their pension benefits, provided certain conditions are met. This rule outlines provisions for counting previous service towards pension benefits under specific circumstances. It is intended to provide a fair and equitable system for employees who have dedicated years of service to the government, ensuring they are not disadvantaged when it comes to their retirement benefits. However, the court clarified that Rule 30's applicability is contingent upon the fulfillment of certain conditions, which are not always straightforward. These conditions are designed to ensure that only those who meet specific criteria can benefit from the rule, thereby maintaining the integrity of the pension system, one of which is the nature of the appointment. The rule specifies that the appointment must be made through a proper selection process, ensuring that the individual is chosen based on merit and qualifications. In Dr. Madhu's case, the court had to carefully examine the details of his re-employment to determine whether it met the criteria outlined in Rule 30. The court determined that the circumstances of his re-employment did not align with the provisions outlined in Rule 30. This was a crucial finding, as it meant that Dr. Madhu could not benefit from the rule in the same way that other employees might. This was primarily because his fresh appointment did not adhere to the prescribed selection process that would have enabled the carry forward of his past service for pension purposes. The selection process is a key element in ensuring that appointments are made fairly and transparently. The court's stance on Rule 30 underscores the importance of not only the continuity of service, but also the manner in which an individual is appointed to a position. This ensures that the pension system remains fair and just for all employees. The ruling indicates that even if an employee rejoins the same organization, the terms and conditions of their re-employment must be carefully scrutinized. The terms and conditions of the re-employment, including the selection process, play a crucial role in determining pension eligibility and calculations. This ensures that only those who meet the necessary criteria can benefit from the pension system, particularly those relating to the selection process, which must be conducted in a fair and transparent manner. This is to ensure that all employees are given an equal opportunity to benefit from the pension system, play a crucial role in determining pension eligibility and calculations. The court's ruling in Dr. Madhu's case highlights the importance of adhering to the rules and regulations governing pension benefits, ensuring that the system remains fair and equitable for all. Section 5. Drawing a contrast, Pratima Dev versus State of Maharashtra. To further understand the court's rationale in Dr. Madhu's case, it's helpful to contrast it with another landmark judgment, Pratima Dev versus State of Maharashtra. This case provides a unique lens through which we can examine the nuances of legal interpretations regarding employment and pension benefits. This case, although dealing with a similar issue of pension benefits and previous service, presents a contrasting perspective due to the specific circumstances surrounding the appointment. The intricacies of Pratima Dev's situation highlight the importance of the initial terms of employment and the procedural adherence during her hiring process. In Pratima Dev, the plaintiff had been initially appointed to a permanent position through a proper selection process. This means that her employment was secured through a transparent and competitive procedure, which is a critical factor in the court's consideration. Her service, however, was later disrupted due to unforeseen circumstances. These disruptions were beyond her control and were not a result of any fault or negligence on her part, which played a significant role in the court's decision. Subsequently, when she was reappointed to a similar position, the court ruled in her favor. allowing her to count her previous service towards pension benefits. This ruling underscored the court's recognition of her initial permanent appointment and the legitimacy of her claim for continuous service. The distinguishing factor between Pratima Dave and Dr. Madhu's case lies in the nature of their initial appointments and the circumstances leading to the disruption in service. While Dr. Madhu's appointment may have lacked the same procedural rigor, Pratima Dave's case was bolstered by the formal and permanent nature of her initial hiring. In Pratima Dave, the initial appointment's permanent nature and its adherence to due process strengthened her claim for continuous service, despite the break. This case illustrates how the legal system can differentiate between seemingly similar cases based on the specifics of employment terms and procedural adherence, ultimately shaping the outcomes in significant ways.